Brickz. But now when we make tea, get some regular water, right? That pendant, that's oxygenated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 1, not 2 and shit. Get this on. Gotta drop this good stuff. I see a lot of stuff going around. It's like, I like the fact that people ain't researching. And then when they research, when they research, that ain't good research, man. It's without fundamentals. It's just something just to give people, I don't know. I used to go and let people know I'm going live. I don't do none of that no more. Oh, that sour soap is good, boy. That is good. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street. We got protect plus homeschool. Gotta eat something. I'm gonna try this vitamin D3, the mushroom shiitake, what's called. So I'm gonna have to make something up, put something up to eat. All of us from carbon base to silicone base should be where the shit show stops. For ourselves, water system irrigation and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to work with this niche. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. I'm saying I'm not some master teacher. No, am I some pastor or preacher? Was released represent with this passion to speak of. After doing 25 years in the beach cuffs. Realize they tried to teach. I know people are saying stuff all over TikTok and Instagram with this. I'm gonna address some things today that hopefully some other people might know. You would think with all these years that people would know by now. That's why it was good that I had my great uncle Danny, who made sure I knew. He didn't really say shit about it, but cause you gotta remember we were being lied to about the slavery thing, and he was like, slavery? He old as hell. He like, no slavery. Oh, and then he broke it down. And you gotta remember now, I was a little jit. I wasn't even into my double digits. I was in the 1 digits when he set us down, the oldest. And he knew, because we ate different food, we drank good water, we didn't have all that fluoride and all these GMOs and all this stuff by these idiots who are baby eaters. All right, that's what they are. All right, you'd be surprised at how many of your politicians have partook in human flesh. A whole bunch of them. All right. Yeah, I'm letting it all grow. Get my Sam Elliott on. Y'all know Sam Elliott, right? You know he got that beard and mustache. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Letting the real dramatic. It doesn't matter India now, because one of the same Algonquins found all that. Atlanteans. So when people say, but you're half German. Ah, man, we're gonna discuss some things today. I'm gonna read some stuff, you know. For those who want to know. You know what I mean? Grand Ascension, beloved. It would be nice to see everybody else come in and share their piece. There's only one ascension, but it's good to feed it energy. That's awesome. Everybody's ascension is different, though. But yeah, they want to keep you from that. Biggest mistake they ever made. Every one of them children they killed, that's part of the story I have to tell. They're too stupid to know better. And the destruction, oh man, they are dumb. Right now we smell smoke out here, right? And it's colder than what they're saying. 27 degrees in Arizona don't make frost, y'all. And we're not talking about this regular frost. This is that single digit stuff that, what was that? A couple of nights ago, it was like, a few nights ago, it was like 9 degrees, 10. That's when you see stuff like this. No, man, they are so, I gotta keep fixing my beard up, y'all. They are so incredibly stupid. They got their little vehicles sitting up there watching on. Oh man, they are something else. They're so stupid. I'm gonna address some things. I'm gonna get my beard right. Let me get my beard pomade on now.
I'm really down on y'all. Fellas up. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or whack.
It's my beard pomade. Oh, it's good stuff if you want to use it. Is that? Shea and coconut oil. It's for your beard, your mustache, and all that. One of my daughters gave me this when I had my beard. So I had it that long, I just never used it. But now I'm gonna let my beard grow in. And they're like, when you gonna let your beard grow in? I'm gonna let it grow back. I got a picture I'll put up to show you I'm gonna have a full beard. They be like, yo, you're a Viking. Whatever, man. Stop with all that made up nonsense. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's some good stuff. Some good stuff, y'all. You have a beard, you had the right stuff, bear oil or whatever, right? Oh my goodness. It's really, really good. You want to see it again? It's not petroleum. It's literally shea and coconut oil, MT oil, and it's for your beard, mustache, and all that. Don't put it in your hair, but nope. I usually don't really use nothing, but I'll use beeswax. Like in my hair, I'll just put beeswax on it. I gotta trim my beard, but it's even. It's just curly. I think, you know, it does the little swirl and it swirls like that. Like you'll see when it gets long. No, my beard curls down like, yeah, like the fake Greek mythical gods they show you. No, they literally curl, and there's no rubber band, and they curl down my beard. If they knew what I was, they stop and just get to running. But it's not here for that. Like I said, they're stupid. Those who realize it, they're graced. I got something like that. I don't know. Some shit written a long time ago, I guess. We want our shit back. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or whack. Oh, I'm gonna get me and T. I'm gonna get both of us mix some of this up. I'm gonna let you know how it go. We ain't taking the pills yet, y'all. But this right here, cuz, that Gut Guardian Digestive Support Mix, when we get back, we want to pick up a couple of those waters, right? So it's an organic fiber, so that way, you know what I'm saying? So I was reading a little more about it. It's supposed to be third-party tested, blah, 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 blah. Stimulates digestion, supports microbiome, and eases of bloating and stuff like that. So that's why I got this one right here, because when I saw it, it's not what somebody sent me. The other thing is what they sent me. This right here, I was reading up on. I was like, okay, we'll give it a shot. See how this stuff really works. Get that man with the truck a real job. He'll be coming over here sometime today or tomorrow. Yeah, T. Yeah, he be. Let me see. Nah, I can open it. I'm gonna leave it closed to the time. I can smell it through the plastic top though. Yeah, this smells good. Gut Guardian digestive support mix. As you can see, it's lemon. I would say don't go getting a lot of stuff. I'm big on third party and more tested, and I like to communicate with individuals and ask them what procedures, what do they do. It lets me know by listening. I don't care how good talker they are. It lets me know that, okay, it sounds like it could be legitimate. Then I research the ingredients, and then I look for the hidden ingredients. Like a lot of y'all will buy stuff, right? Like, I gotta turn this back on because it's gonna play some music stuff that they say can't be played. Anyway, we get golden grams. A lot of stuff you buy, right? The FDA is so treacherous and tyrannical. It's like the DOJ, all right? You got a bunch of idiots running around costumes, don't know law or anything, and then the witch guard said that they don't have to serve and protect. So what are they doing? So anyway, they're fleecing you. And they're supposed to be American born, serving in the military, this, that, and other. Bunch of idiots. No cursing, don't worry. But there's a lot of chemicals in foods that they say don't have to be annotated. That is BS. See, no one gave up their rights to partake in healthy food. So that's why I say APEC, the Zionists, they play a major role in a lot of your downfall. And a lot of farmers who should have never been farming in the last 30 years. We had 42 million acres of land that we farmed up until 1947. Our land. And then a lot of our light-skinned brothers and sisters came in for greed. The hypothetical question wasn't even asked, who's in India? The narrative was being changed then, and they started farming, and when the government deemed what they do with it, they did it for profit, not for the help of their neighbors or anybody else. Morally, we are more sound than most of you. It's not with hate. I can point out a fact, and I can read 20 articles that will allude to this. And even farmers who have shut their businesses down says, what did we do? This is a fact. Why did we become farmers of GMO soy? When most of us who served overseas know the benefits of fermented soy, especially on the endocrine system, where it's beneficial, natto. But here, the stuff that they said by cold pressing and extracting, and these foreign Hindu and British scientists, don't matter if they're Zionist Jew or not, was excreting stuff in California and Ohio and Nevada and all these different places to make more poisons, to further toxify the very food that even the farmers were eating. But you see the top, you see Trump. And I'm gonna free some people today from ignorance because they thought that he was talking about, that's why I don't like Moors. The people that claim to be Moors. You're not. You're disrespectful to those who would be considered that, who knew that they came from here. But that is the title given to them, a name that was never theirs. I've hung with enough good Moroccan citizens, of beautiful people, who made sure I knew this. We're going to talk about that. They don't look like Indians to me, from the reservations that you gave, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And this is because of Trump's greed. But we're going to sit here and we're going to remedy that. Now, he sat and he talked with Ice Cube, and Ice Cube let him know, not all of us are Africans. But you see all the idiots using this terminology, these fake doctors, even Sadiq, the good Irish, German, Muslim, I've corrected him a number of times and say, stop saying African American. He's starting to come around, like, make it make sense. There's no such thing as an African American. Only in the depths of those instilled in pain, fear, and ignorance. And those on the outside who don't even know who they are, going, yeah, those are African Americans, as if you can be Indian or Native. We're going to talk about that a little bit. All right? All the fear with this birthright citizenship. We're going to break some things down. So that way you know what the 13th and the 14th Amendment really means, because we wrote the original Bill of Rights, the original Constitution for the Republic. This is not the West. This is the East. We were the Asiatic black man before we were Asiatic before we became a black man. Negro distinguished from that of Hamitic origins, not saying they're not relatives, but by the definition. It's funny how everybody wants to be under a tent congregating with snake oil salesmen, drinking Coke and Coca-Cola, as we say, well, you know the name of the poppy plants and all that, but regardless of that, the cacao, you know what I'm saying, the leaves and everything, which is extracted from, we didn't do that. There's no need for it. How did they conquer the original people of China for the Boxer Rebellion? To go in there and eradicate the melanated ones? They used opium. I get tired of people talking and they don't know what they're talking about. It's all up here in you. So we're gonna extrapolate on the 13th and the 14th Amendment. Some words y'all forgot about. The punch bowls. They give you one, and there's a number of them. They showed you a couple of cities there's over 200 under lakes. And you think that everything's gonna work out all right if you don't change your demeanor, the way you look at things, your approach. Well, there were spells cast a long time ago for this. And them idiots don't know nobody. They think they can stop it. Over there in New York, upstate somewhere, I forget the name of it. They don't go out in the woods because there are things walking around in the woods attacking, people missing. And it ain't the idiots that like to devour children. It's some other things. Deep down, so your soul can't reclaim it. You didn't try to say shit, but really can't explain it. You had the means to do it, yet didn't change shit. Instead, you continue to entertain us with the same. Boy, this sour sauce, man. Listen here, boy. It ain't sweet. It's got a taste to it, but it's been a long time since I've been to St. Croix or St. Thomas or Jamaica or anything, where I literally had it. In a salad with a liquid extract. I'd rather be growing soursop plants out here myself, the fruit. We had some of these fine, magnificent, wonderful Yohade light-skinned sisters who farm and garden out here with the green. Y'all would have us motivated with ideas and be growing all kind of stuff, but the nurturing nature. When I was growing up, the women gardened. The young men went in to make sure to know what they need to have, even in the composting of things. So we had to know what they were doing. We had to know how to do it too. That's why I was on the reservation growing corn bigger, better, and more colorful than everybody else. And not adding certain soils, just using the red clay. And they couldn't believe it. How? I used to put my fingers in the dirt. I'd walk around in a certain way. Some people call it the corn stop. I would chant, say certain things over the soil. And then before you know it, pearls, it's growing. Of course it's growing. I had built this big door to walk in with a little welcome here. The thing where the horses could put their head over and I could feed them the corn stalks from the last, you know what I mean? Watermelon, celery, broccoli, high in sulfur to grow it, so obviously it's beneficial. Stop listening to these idiots who don't know nothing. Cauliflower is good too. Y'all saw the video where I literally on here, go way back, showed you how to make cauliflower crust for a pizza. That's what we do. You can add corn in, and you can add carrot in there as well. Purple carrot to change the color of the crust. Sesame seed. Chia seed. It's all beneficial when it's baked. You can make cookies that you don't have to cook. If you don't mind chopping up dates and raisins and apricots, that in itself, when you got all your little grains and your pistachios and the hazelnuts and your macadamias and nigrotos, we call walnuts, crushed up, chopped up in it, and then you put it in a little press, and boom, you got a healthy little food bar that actually can benefit you compared to Quaker Oats, little natural and Blitz and all those little crappy protein bars. It's all simple, y'all. It's not complicated.
That make up creation. Fire represents directed will, energy radiating out from the center, and action.
How much more longer?
If you're not living as a divine being, then you are not living at all. I assess you are merely existing at this or worship.
Idiots already playing their part, thank goodness. And some of y'all say it's crazy. You want to leave? Listen to me. Y'all afraid. They're dumb. And look, where's the balance in that?
Scavengers fly in communities locked in due to a cell phone or cell phone for males grown, not used to a jail zone to escape hell. It'll be
come on in.
Impunity shopping as if immunities are bargain or everlasting.
I saw some videos. I was like, oh my God, here we go. Some people got together, but they're still using terms, they're still giving energy to things they shouldn't. They're so conflicted and complacent. It's just, it's mind-boggling.
You're not living as a divine being, and you are not living at all. I assess you are merely existing at best or worse. You are on the path to death. I suggest you reflect, restore, and resurrect your that I am the way, the truth, and the light. Thus you become the master of your own destiny. This is what is meant to have a life. As role play, become the substitute for realness. For loud noise, they replace soundproof for stillness. My medicine, having deep into the illness of materialism. You must possess just to feel blessed. I guess it's sex, express sex, murder, and drugs. So of course you're judged as a European does with a smudge remark. You not as dark as fudge. Plus the weight of the world for shoulders. I'm doing shrugs, cause it's bodybuilder. Also cardio healer, pumps like when people despite the evil party killer. CPR's needed, it's like the heart's iller, cause you bought with a bounce don't make you heart or rilla. You bombard the clubs, don't make you a car dealer. King Kong made a mockery of Godzilla. You are not showing the globe who you are, killer. Take off the disguise mark, that mask scar for rilla. If you're not living as a divine being, then you are not living at all. I assess you are merely existing at best or worse. You are on the path to death. I suggest you reflect, restore, and resurrect your that I am the way, the truth, and the light. Thus you become the master of your
I haven't taken this earring out.
What,
What, about 12 years? Oh my goodness. No, I don't got that nasty, stinky, whatever nose. I've got like 3 holes. For everybody that I lost in the Navy, we lost in the Navy that drowned. Each hole was for each individual that I personally knew that drowned in the Navy.
As it should be a tower of glory or a glowing loft. I chose to adore, they say I'm going soft. Exemplify fly, they say I'm showing off. What they meant was I'm the chosen boss. Crackheads, cash stones, don't feast porn, so I opt to not respond instead of going off. And spray iron like sun do, I stay shining like the sun do in the daytime right in front of you. Why they wanna like the young dude? It's fine, make the mistake. Think I'm too comfortable or too humble, cross the fine line and I'ma hunt you. Divine law run you down and punish you.
I almost got in trouble piercing my ear in the Navy, you know that? But then they knew the old story, so, you know. But I took a different oath too, so.
You are not living at all. I assess you are merely existing at best or worse. You are on the path to death. I suggest you reflect, restore, and resurrect your that I am the way, the truth, and the light. Thus you become the master of your own destiny. This is what is meant to have a life.
We have earth, physical, the force that holds the atoms together, the force that holds the atoms together. Earth represents practical applications, and earth also represents consolidation. Let's deal with the air principle. Air represents intellect. Air represents the energy that shapes the pattern of things to come. And air also represents communication. Last of the 4 cardinal elements we talk about is water. Water represents soul. Water represents emotions. Water represents the power of the unconscious mind. Power of the unconscious mind. Water represents connecting to the source. And water also represents reception. Fire is represented by 3 of the zodiac houses, those being Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Earth represents Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Water represents Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And air represents Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
Whew, gotta get a little bit of that Babalo. Yeah, I got my boots. I gotta head out to town, y'all. So, get dressed up here.
This for my aunt, baby.
Probably make me a blueberry smoothie or something. I don't know.
The elder roaster. I phoned you. This for y'all. Babalawo indoctrinated with the art of divination, power of Olaudomari and Arun Mila through initiation. The Ether system, ancestors spoke, said this my proper station. Words and manifestation that speak truth, my proclamation. Came to earth for
it's a
my
benefit
kind of
everybody, all right? So
handle.
remember, I'm not trying to push no one out. It's for everyone, okay? What I'm gonna discuss, and then you can further build on it and see what you find, all right?
And the math, sounded my name in the ground and tremble. My glory great astounds the simple souls that relate, profound and nimble, sacred estate, royal crown and splendor. Move from body to ether. I carry the Ashe of Ifa. Unlike you proud deceivers, no one can stop me neither. The more I sacrifice, the more powerfully I
Angeline, oh Mac, I got you, Dad. Who else? Asia Lee, what's up, Mom? Oh Mac, Fred Inco, what's up, beloved? What's cracking? I know some of you are busy, but I hope you just don't come in and leave. I hope you hang on, all right? And then share this. And then see what you find. Terminology, words, it's amazing. You know what I mean?
Rescue you from an oppressive, hateful cesspool. Was a sworn and a born divine. Spiraling fire adorns
I'm just a cone head.
Do for those who restore corn and do not adore the swine. Perceptive, the tentacle, temper, respected, or unturned stone. No detail neglected. Cherish the day, the moon in the sky. Oracle of the Orish's perspective. I did this in heaven. Religious.
I mean, I was seeing this one doctor.
History. Put in remission your misery. No chicken feet, father of mystery. Let this spoken at last the one. Fast as I spit the tasks done. Come to pass the drum out last the gun. I don't rise from the ash, I'm the dazzling sun.
So, man, I'll produce that. Man, listen here, man. Listen, let me get that thing built, man. I'll be like, yo, so where you coming? I know you coming, cuz. Get up out of Chicago, man. Bring some relatives, man. All right. So, anyway, let's see here. All right. So, there's a lot of things going around, right? That was 1993 when Trump was at that little congressional meeting, and he was talking to whomever that guy was. I don't care about his name. And he says, you know, the reservation that you created, give these Indians who don't look like Indians to Indians. He was talking about the Pequot. You know, a certain group of Negroes using it, like thinking they were talking about the Mongol ones. No, he was talking about the Pequot. Because they're Negroidal. And there's some light-skinned folk in there. We're going to cover that too, because I think people are having a hard time, and some people are starting to come around. Even doctors are starting to not fancy it, but tell the truth. Blonde hair and blue eyes don't mean a damn thing. And Kiramia did an excellent live the other day on this. When I say you come from us, I literally mean you come from us. I don't care how you feel, what you think. I don't care how straight your nose is or how flat. You'd be surprised to notice how many light-skinned folk, whether it be Scottish or Irish, English, Welsh, or whatever New Age narrative, have noses flatter than mine, more Guinea or African. And those are not even original Africans, at least in South America and all around the Cape and all around the west part of the so-called west part of Africa, which it's not. They're not from there. I told you about King Leopold. They never tell you the truth about what he was doing and why he subjugated the people. While traders or foreigners were coming from here, going over there, taking little Indian women, children over there when the people were starving after being conquered. History eradicated and giving them whiskey to cannibalize our little children. Okay. All right. You come from us, whether it's recessive or whatever. Whether some people in our past manipulated things or on other lands, genetically, it's not like this stuff is new. Okay, diets play a major role. Where you live, subjugated to less sun or more, cold or heat. You come from us. It's no other way around it. I don't care where we're from. Okay? And this is in medical records. Library of Congress, if you know what you're researching. When they say the sons and the daughters against the fathers and the sons, who do you think they're talking about? But if they put it in a religious biography or ideology, they're going to paint it the way they want to. All right? So the citizenship thing. They know who is of this land. You think they're playing word semantics and things like that because they want to? No, they're doing it because most of our people are pretty ignorant too. So they won't be able to draw a conclusion because they'll still be crashing out for whatever reason. And then those around them who think they're intelligent and smart and everything else will only feed their ignorance. And I see it on a regular. All right? But first, let's cut through the chase and read about the history and legal status of prisoners of war. In order to rob people of their rights, their natural existence, and to create this fallacy, you have to change things. And they murdered a lot of our prisoners of war and experimented on them, attempting to figure out how did we get to where we were in the loop of their ignorance. So the history of prisoners of war is as old as the history of warfare, which is not old, but is old, based on those who come to conquer us and manipulate and play and mess with everything. In primitive times, which you are in right now, if that ain't a reversal of things, because you are far from primitive, the captured warriors were considered the personal property of the captor and were forced into slavery. So you got ignorant Negroes coming from over in Europe who have already been conquered. They don't know their truth. And they come over here and subjugate with mass and artillery and arms after we had been fighting. And that's why you have so many so-called black folks that had slaves. And then a majority had that narrative so they wouldn't be tormented, misused, abused, raped, sodomized, whatever, cannibalized. The Delectable Negro, the book I have, right? So the families would take them on that had that means, all right? Because many of our people still had it. I mean, up into the 40s, we still own over 41 to 42 million acres of land that we farmed. Before California became this place where everything is growing, because you know who controls that, like New York and they're in New Jersey, okay? That's the only way they could poison you, all right? When you want to go to the Werners and the Levi's and this, that, and the other, okay? So considered the personal property of the captor and were forced into slavery. We're no slave. So POW means slavery. You go and get locked up in prison, right? There's a war amongst you, and regardless of how you act and you rob for food or riches or whatever, you're a warrior that's misguided. You don't have the best of fighting and thought skills, but you're a prisoner of war. And what do you do when you're in there? Yeah, make all the things that people buy in stores. Servitude, slavery, like a sweatshop. All illegal, mind you. But because people are so caught up in their fake comparisons of white identity and black identity, this fake nationality of the Republicans and the liberals and all this other stuff, you don't know one from the other. All right? Now, during the Middle Ages, when the concept of ransom was developed, 6th century, all of a sudden things 1,000 years popped up out of nowhere. And nobody stopped. This became the 17th century. Concept of ransom was developed. It became beneficial for warriors to capture wealthy soldiers. Holding prisoners required expenses for their upkeep. Therefore, prisoners were not kept unless it was expedient to the captive to do so. Soldiers of little status or wealth were killed to reduce the enemy's numbers. Well, if you want to get into all the stories of all people fighting back, and not whether it's Seminole, Yamasee, or Gump, not losing any war to this fake union, all these weapons, and the racist contents of how they existed, okay? Lynchings and all the other stuff had to take place. And they had to kill off our offspring as well, the light-skinned folk. That's why they were the first one lynched. During the 17th to 18th centuries, when people all of a sudden walked up and looked at, well, we can have a powerful narrative. All right, they were scheming. Well, our people were still struggling to survive. More modern thinking on the status of prisoners of war began to develop as war began to be considered strictly a relationship between states. Individual soldiers were enemies only so long as they were armed, and the captive's only rights over prisoners were to keep them from returning to the battle lines. Who's the slave? The Indian. And not some Mongol who went to a boarding school and beaten to submission and taught a broken language of their own and written into history as belonging to this land, when they were once visitors who had a place where we could all mitigate and converse. This way of thinking resulted in more humane treatment for those officially classified as prisoners of war. Captured Americans during the Revolution were not accorded this special status as prisoners of war. The British considered the freedom fighters to be criminals and thus treated them harshly. American prisoners were held in extremely crowded ships off the coast where thousands died from starvation and exposure. They have those prison ships out there in the ocean right now off the coast. Y'all know that? You can't imagine the things that the CIA and them are doing. Black sites. You always think on the ground, huh? Initially, during the Civil War, a system of parolees and exchanges was used. Paroled prisoners were released to their homes after signing a document pledging not to bear arms until formally exchanged. A formal exchange system was developed with the two sides meeting on the battlefield and exchanging men of equal rank. Accusations and confusion about the number of equivalent prisoners and the South's refusal to exchange black prisoners led to a breakdown of the exchange system in mid-1863, right around the time they decided to take over our government. Not hypothetical. So we had to destroy it. After the cessation of the exchange system, the number and size of prison camps increased drastically. The prison that was to hold the most number of men at one time, Camp Sumter, commonly called Andersonville, research it, has since come to be considered the epitome of prison camp suffering. However, the debilitating problems at Andersonville of overcrowding and inadequate food, shelter, and sanitation were present in almost all the 150 Civil War military prisons, though not on the same scale. Concern over the treatment of civilians, prisoners, and soldiers led to President Lincoln's request to Professor Francis Leavier, who was actually a king, all right, of Columbia College to develop a set of uniform rules for treatment of prisoners of war. He didn't like what was happening to the Negro. In the 1863 Libier Code on treatment of prisoners accorded basic rights to the POWs and designated a POW to be the prisoner of the government and not the captor. That's why those men upstate New York should be put to death. They should. Legally. And any other police officer that goes out there and shoots a melanated man with no recourse other than the fact of skin color, put to death by the truth. Congressional records and history. They can mitigate and say whatever they want. The reality is the truth, and the truth is the reality. From the first Geneva Convention in 1864, the Hague Conferences in 1899, that word itself. Anyway, research it. 1907 and 1914, World War I, where they needed us. International rules of war. So y'all think that what the Russians were doing with the prisoners fighting in the war, that's nothing new. They learned it all from us, just like Hitler and eugenics and everything else from over here, from the enemy, under the fake crown, to which y'all still are. I mean, look at Walt Disney. Look at New York. Look at the fact that the Revolutionary War didn't happen the way you say it did. Crispus Attucks was a what, a monkey? But they wanted y'all to think he was some African, or whatever tribe he was. The Geneva Convention of 1929 provided that prisoners must be treated humanely. The captive nations must supply information about any prisoners held and must permit visits to prison camps by representatives of neutral states. Of the 46 nations attending the convention, these provisions were signed by 33 nations. Now, the 1949 Geneva Convention was signed by 57 nations, greatly expanded and detailed rules of conduct for the protection of prisoners throughout their captivity. Humane and decent treatment of prisoners is to be a right and is not subject to the whim of the captor. The prisoners of war are to be clearly recognized as victims of events and not criminals. In Russia, y'all don't hear about it, but Putin, if he finds any of those people executed Ukrainian, he puts them to death. And that's why there's a video going around showing, I was surprised to see it on Instagram, showing so-called Russian soldiers committing an atrocity of murdering the Ukrainians. That was not Russians. Those were Ukrainians who had took off their yellow sleeves and executed those who wanted to flee the war. They didn't see no way in winning. And they literally executed their own people. Now, why do I say this? Well, let's look at the 13th Amendment. Whenever you pull it up, all you're going to see is a whole bunch of black stuff. And there ain't no Native Americans or pale skins. All right? The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, POWs, except as punishment for crime. That means the police are supposed to act accordingly based on the Constitution, to which they don't. That's why you have the right to defend and fight against them, but you don't move in numbers to do so. That's why you always see a whole bunch of cars show up and a bunch of dumb Negroes, and most of the day, now you see Sikhs and Chinese, some who can't even speak English, and a whole lot of Cubans and Mexicans. So in simple terms, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, unless found innocent, shall exist within the United States, which is an outside law based on the Crown, adopting, radicalizing, or ratifying, which they radicalized our laws, or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Now, in fake England, the Constitution applied there at one time too, because it was deemed based off of what we did around the world. What does that allude to? Well, if you look at the 14th Amendment, the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees citizenship, equal protection, and due process to all people. That's not what it stated. It was to the very citizens who are POWs. Because, see, what y'all don't know about is that Civil Rights Act is the Indian Civil Rights Act. And they gave it a nickname, but you got to remember, King was out of here. LBJ signed it, who had Kennedy murdered, who was a Zionist Christian. Okay? Because Kennedy didn't want to play by the game. He saw what was happening and what was going to happen, what was going to convene. And he was disturbed by it. This is a war hero who swam PT boat operator, right, who swam to save his people, all those he could, to an island. So you had these lazy bags of excrement who knew no better other than death and wanted to control everything, especially the old world right here. And they had to change the narrative, and they had to feed that to you. Ergo, Rockefeller, the education system, the Carnegies, and all the other bastards. And AIPAC on our land who shouldn't be here. So in simple terms, passed by the Senate on June 8th, 1866, and ratified 2 years later on July 9th, 1868. The 14th Amendment granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. No, it didn't. Including formerly enslaved peoples. Those were the only ones who were POWs it applied to. And provided all citizens with equal protection under the laws extending the provisions of so on and so on. They change things to fit. As you know, they change all the time, especially you people out there that do audits, First Amendment audits and all that. Every state, which is illegal, are changing so that way they can stop you from what they're doing. Recording the police because they're corrupt. Isn't it funny how people could be born here, go to school, and serve in the military, and join the police department, and then be, programming's a motherfucker, right? The conditioning is something arguing, right? Arbitrary to the truth. They don't even know the law. So all this about these people, natural born citizens, it applies only to the Negro people. Because the civil rights, to which we barely even get to use, is used by everybody, and they ain't put a toe in it. But AIPAC, to do what they're doing, apply it to everybody as if that's the way it was ordained, and it wasn't. Because most people are ignorant to the truth of history because they've compiled POWs, meaning slavery. And yet they weren't slaves by the narrative. Just greedy. So if you want to sit there and you want to run around in a house in the Diddy mentality of things that it's mine, I earned it, that's not how it works in the reality of things. You are allowing yourselves to fail because the system is working against you. And you don't see it because you don't recognize nor know the truth. He was the first Irish Catholic president. He was a Jew, all right? Gabriel Rich. He was a Jew. Yeah. But yeah, you're correct. Regardless of the religion and everything. It was an anomaly, exactly. All of them are, actually. LBJ was one of the biggest ones who murdered his president as a vice president, took his position because he was willing to do exactly what they required him to do. You know what I mean? Yes, the Kennedys were Jews. And still are. Robert Kennedy is a Jew. He practices Christianity or Catholicism. There's many Jews who practice Islam, Christianity. Any of y'all ever read the Kol Nitra? Sound like something out of Lord of the Rings, right? Nitra, right? The Kol Nitra, like some magic, you know? It's some serious stuff. But nobody knows it because why? The education system, bring them all looking different into this, boop, 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 crack the light bulb and send them all out with a flat head and a broken lamp over their head. You know, everybody looks the same. Now they can do what they want with them. You know? And that's what the education system is. And this classism thing. Those who are stupid enough to make it through all the garbage, and those who, for some reason, are the brightest, can't make it through that crap. Because they can't let go of who they are. They refuse to accept. And some will just say, no, they're just dumb. No, actually, it's the ones that make it through it and think they know everything. Look at me, I'm a millionaire. I was eating sardines and crackers and drinking cold tea. Look at me now. I make $100 million a year, as if that's supposed to be the way life's supposed to be. No, that's the problem. The fallacy, the slave mentality. Not even POWs. Even though this world we live in is now a prison camp. And no one's paying attention to figure out that, hey, sometimes like World War II and all other wars, you got to bleed a little bit. I'm not advocating violence. I am teaching you the staple of the reality of the staple that you live in. Or you can call it stable, which all are very unstable. But stable also means where horses or cattle or sheep or lamb. I don't know. What do you think? 13th and 14th Amendment apply to the indigenous autochthonous people, the aborigines, no one else. Birthright citizenship applies to the people of the land. That's who it applies to. And legalese. But because y'all running around in your fiction, you don't even know your existence. So somebody had to paint one. We ain't running around digging up the world to tell a fake story to further keep people inbred in the head. Insane in the brain. Insane ain't got no brain. Stability. These are things that are, it's all around, but the world is so corrupt and polluted. No one can make sense of anything because the dynamics of grammar and the words. They've been given false meanings. And so what people do run around with that false meaning, give it energy. All right? This is not hate. This is like research it. Trump is as ignorant as the rest of them. I'm not against that man. Man, he never had a problem with us. He knows what he's supposed to know. Now he's older, and they may have shared more things where he goes, holy smack. So he's going to still play the role. While the rest of the world sounds goofy, arguing and fighting, and don't even know that they're not winning. Just arguing and fighting, and dying, and bleeding, and arguing, and fighting, and further learning more foolishness and nonsense. 500 people is a lot of people. And there are people vying for that position. And what better way to do it? When I told y'all about the 40s, that our people were literally being murdered by these new so-called Irish fire departments. They were being told to let them burn. Old folk, children, thousands. The war has been against our people for a long time, and a lot of light-skinned folk are from us and don't even know it, because how else could you make Cabbage Patch babies and nurture them and bring them up in ignorance while we teaching them? Martin Luther King, we're coming to get our check because he realized, like Kennedy, enough is enough. Why do you think NFA came to exist? I just read it. You gave up your arms. So you gave up your sensibility and your respect of self and family. I wish somebody would come with that out of Africa crap. I eat them up. I put so many videos on here and had their heads spinning. All they do is shut up and sit in the corner, venerating and hating, because that's all they know. Yes, mind-boggling how people could be so putrid and dumb. The oldest tree is Sequoia. Who was that tribe? Who were the earth bearers and keepers? And why did it change so abruptly? They always give you chicken pox. Man, they had all kind of chemicals and things. They were poisons, sitting down at dinners to make agreements on treaties and then murdering my very ancestors. Sneakily, 1 or 2 people to kill 100. Eradicated from history. No more than a force goes in and quells and kills and murders and shuts everybody up and then forces them into labor or in school. Look, I'm telling me that's you when that ain't you. Because you feel some kind of way. Like I give a damn about feelings. You know what I mean? When are y'all going to start looking at these things and stop paying attention to slothful Negroes and lazy, no good light skins who can't get their heads about their butts? The Mexican president acknowledges what most of South America do. For those who believe that South America, that Afro-Indigenous are a people. When it comes to the Boones, talking about Daniel Boone, the only Boones I know are all Negro, and there's a few light skins. And they don't even know that's true. Because there's nobody there to break it down and tell it to them together. In a family of unity. Hey, it was good to have you in here. Carrie, what's up, mama? Max V, what's up, beloved? I just want y'all to share this. And if they want to have further discussion, there's a lot more information. We can have that. It's for education. But you know, some people, they think they're combatants, verbal judo artists or karate choppers or something like that. And sometimes they got to be brought down because they're too high on a horse that don't have no legs and no saddle. They might as well be in one of them little saloons, sitting on one of them mechanical bulls, getting tossed around, laughing. But that's how they act. All right? So I appreciate you guys. You can share this. All right? You can hold on whatever belief you have. Okay? Yeah. What about it? Hey, tell them, what is the name of that salute? And it ain't SS Hitler and all that other. It was something we used to do a long time ago. It means like to covet the whole nation. That's all it's saying. Y'all need to snap about their lies. They're contemptuous and they don't care about shit. All right? My beloved sisters and my brothers, remember the strength and the power. Okay? And if they want to keep playing with magic, computations of other worlds, what worked, why there's no more there, well, they're effing with the wrong ones. They can wake up, or they can stay stuck in the sunken place by the narrative. All right? Appreciate you guys.